Hey, what's up, YouTube? And welcome back to Coffee Shop Chatter. I'm Mr. Controversy. So, if you haven't heard the news, you've probably been under a rock somewhere that we have now sent 100 soldiers over to Israel with a THAAD system. And for those who may not know what a THAAD is, it's a terminal high altitude area defense. That's all it is. That's all it stands for. Basically, it's for shooting down ballistic missiles and all this. Pretty much, it's an air-to-air type asset that we use in the Army. Um, why we sent them over there, I'll give you my reasons at the end. But we're just gonna go ahead and get into this video and let you see for yourself.
We're going to go overseas now to the latest on the tensions in the Middle East. President Biden has announced that he is sending an advanced air defense system to Israel, along with a crew of about 100 U.S. troops, as Israel pledges to retaliate against Iran for a missile attack earlier this month. Matt Gutman has the latest.
This morning, the U.S. preparing to deploy a sophisticated anti-missile defense system to Israel, along with 100 troops to operate it. One Pentagon official saying the action was intended to bolster Israel's air defenses following Iran's unprecedented attacks.
Sir, could you add why did you decide to give the permission for the THAAD to be deployed in Israel?
Defend Israel.
It comes as the Pentagon works with Israel to calibrate its response to Iran's massive missile barrage on October 1st. Israel's defense minister has vowed it would be a lethal, precise, and surprising counterpunch. This as Hezbollah in Lebanon launched its largest number of attacks against Israel since the war began a year ago. The IDF saying the Iran-backed Hezbollah fired over 300 projectiles into Israel over the weekend, including a swarm of drones that hit a dining hall at an Israeli military base about 30 miles north of Tel Aviv. The sophisticated attack penetrated Israel's air defenses, leaving 4 soldiers killed, dozens wounded. It comes as Israel expands its incursion into southern Lebanon. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu telling the United Nations to evacuate its peacekeeper forces from southern Lebanon, the warning drawing condemnation from the UN. And in Gaza overnight, at least 4 people dead and dozens wounded in an airstrike Israel said targeted Hamas militants, fire engulfing the tent sheeting, and the wounded hand-carried from the scene.
And we're in Haifa. You can just about make out the Lebanese border behind me. Hezbollah hitting this city almost every single day. But over the past several days, Hezbollah has shown that it's learning to evade Israel's air defenses. One reason that Israel considers that U.S. anti-ballistic missile system so important, but I'm told it'll be at least several days before that U.S. system is operational. And a reminder, this is the first time that U.S. troops are going to operate on the ground in Israel in about a year. Robin.
We are keeping that in mind. Okay, Matt, our thanks to you.
So we send our troops over to Israel to help Israel fight against Hezbollah. In reality, it's to help them to fight against Iran. Because if you remember, Iran, they barraged them. They sent a whole bunch of missiles, ballistic missiles at them. But what I'm not understanding why we send in our guys over there when they have that Iron Dome, which operates in the same manner as a THAADs. Is an anti-missile system. So we send our soldiers over there. So this is what I think is going to end up happening. The U.S. is going to end up going to war with Iran. That is my personal belief. I think we're going to end up going to war with Iran because Iran was told not to fire any missiles on Israel. They did it anyway. Now, all of a sudden, we send in 100 troops to go over there. All it's going to take is for Iran to fire some missiles. And I think if a soldier ends up, and I hope it doesn't happen, but if something happens to those U.S. soldiers, we send in a whole bunch of damn people over there to deal with Iran. I'm going to just say Democrats are warmongers. If you go back in history and look at whenever we was at war, who were the ones who initiated when we sent people over there. Democrats love war. When Dick Cheney was there, oh, he was doing some backdoor stuff. He made millions of dollars, which is now, I think they're called KBR now, but they used to be called Brown and Root. And for some reason, they always was winning the contract. And this was when I was in Kosovo and Bosnia. They was always, somehow, they was always getting the bid to deal with all those deployments, from DFACs, vehicles, fuel, transporting fuel, transportation, bringing us stuff. They was always winning. So, like I said, I personally think they're trying to get us another war. And this was going on is going to lead into, I'm going to do a part 2, but it's covering 2 other countries that I think is going to end up going to war. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, tell me what you think about this, about us sending our soldiers over there. I mean, we sent 100. It always start with small packages and end up growing to something much larger. But it normally takes for something to happen to one of our soldiers or to a couple of them. So if somehow a missile gets through, because they're going to target at that. Once it fires one time, they got the signature for where it fired from. And they're going to probably try to take it out. They're not going to care if U.S. soldiers on it. They're going to try to take it out because there's a defense system. And then who you blame then? Do you blame Iran? Or do you blame it on our current administration for sending soldiers over there? When, in fact, which is President Biden, he jumped, and Kamala Harris, since she's always the last person in the doggone room, they skipped over Congress. In order for us to send someone over for something like this to help Israel, it has to be a justification, which has to be approved by Congress, and that justification is if it's in our interest as far as defending for ourselves or we was being attacked. Not to go over there, not to get involved in already ongoing war, because that's what this is. It's already ongoing war. We're not supposed to just jump into something. That is not something the President of the United States can do. They have to go to Congress, and Congress has to give us permission. So him, the Secretary of Defense, they jumped the gun. They did one of these, they did a big fuck you to to Congress and sent soldiers over there. So, like I said, I would like to know what you think. Do you think we had any business in anyone over there? If not, hey, like I said, I say we didn't, but of course we always do what we want to do. So, Miss Controversy, and I'm out of here.